sources that told them a few weeks ago that Dead Island 2 is now set for a September date.
After some time in development, the team at Jaeger was removed from the project by Deep Silver, which couldn't have been anything less than a massive setback for the game.
Right, so Dead Island 2 is now being developed by Sumo Digital,
who seems to have placed the game's primary responsibilities in the hands of Dambuster Studios.
So they waited. It has now been 7 years, and we still have no release date.
Specific, but it was basically like we had creative differences. Like, they
obviously,
yeah.
I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna just hit you right away. What kind of new features are in this game? Why should we care about yet another zombie game?
Because it's awesome and cool.
We all know about Dead Island's 2 infamous case of development hell, going from one developer to another like the slut it is. But we don't really know why Dead Island 2 has had so much trouble during development. Why have 3 experienced teams of developers attempted Dead Island 2 but all failed? Why was a zombie game that was 80% finished in 2014 cancelled and thrown in the bin like a used condom? Well, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary, transgender, gender fluid, cisgender, bigender, gender expansive, gender queer people. Today we'll find out the truth behind Dead Island 2 multiple cancellations. Let's start with Techland.
Hiding your body so they cannot find this what you get because you're in the mind.
Techland were dropped very early on in the development process of Dead Island 2. The original Dead Island sold 5 million plus copies, and its follow-up entry, Dead Island Riptide, sold over 2.5 million copies. So commercially, both games were great successes.
A great success!
So why get rid of Techland then? If the games were that successful and that commercially successful and put a lot of money in your pocket, why get rid of Techland, seeing as they're the ones who came up with the idea of Dead Island and they're the ones who developed it? Well, reception for the game pretty much went something like this.
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck in my opinion. I mean,
Dead Island 2 had a lot of problems. It was announced in 2006 but only was released in 2011 due to multiple delays, and even after all the delays, Dead Island still had a lot of problems, from bugs to a lack of story to a severe case of deja vu. One of my favourite Eminem songs, by the way. And these criticisms were, I think I said too many isms, were valid at the time and actually are still valid to this day. Me personally, I hate Dead Island's story. I hate it with a passion. It's pretty much, crikey mate, I've just realised I left my stickers on the dick back home. Don't mind popping back and getting us for you, do ya? Or, crikey mate, I've left my e-cig back at the gas station, as well as my kid. You don't mind popping back and getting them both for us, do ya? It was simply, go here and go there. Go here and go there. It was boring. The game's story was so uneventful. I've struggled many times to try and finish it, and I've never finished it to this day. Overall, the game was average, but had great potential. And Deep Silver knew this, right? They knew that they had a winning formula just by looking at the sales of both games. They just needed to tweak a few things and this series would be perfect. And one of those things that needed changing, according to Deep Silver, was the developers. So out Techland went. Again, designer at Techland would later go on and say that there were a lot of moments where Techland and Deep Silver would disagree upon the creative vision of the game. Techland presented the idea of Dead Island 2 to Deep Silver, but Deep Silver weren't up for it because they didn't want to fund this type of game that Techland presented, and they believed it strayed too far away from what the original Dead Island was about. And that idea that they presented turned out to be Dying Light. So Dying Light is pretty much Dead Island 2. Deep Silver always had final say when it came to what was allowed in the game and what wasn't allowed in the game, because Deep Silver had ownership of the IP, so a constant disagreement on what to add and what not to add into the original game, plus a disagreement in the next project, plus the fact that Dead Island was met with average reviews and had a lot of problems from release date, were all contributing factors into Techland getting the old boot. So a mediocre game at its core and a constant fight for power were the two reasons Techland were dropped. Deep Silver thought they could do better than Techland, and that's why they dropped him, and it turns out Deep Silver were wrong. They were terribly wrong. Just look at the success of Dying Light. The year is 2014 and the date is the 10th of June. Deep Silver have just unveiled their brand new game called Dead Island 2 with a cinematic trailer set in beautiful, sunny California. And you walk away from the trailer saying this:
"Oh man, I am definitely buying that game."
Then a little time passes. And some in-game footage of Dead Island 2 is released and shown off. Now you're pumped, now you're excited, now the blood's flowing, so you run to your local game shop and pre-order Dead Island 2, eagerly waiting for its release in 2015. The year can't come quick enough. You're so excited for Dead Island 2 that time starts ticking faster than my nan's pacemaker. Then something happens. Your mum sits you down and says she's got some bad news for you.
Bad news?
The bad news is Dead Island 2 has been officially cancelled. Devastated by the news, you walk out your bedroom trying to contain your emotions, but your emotions get the better of you and you start to break down. So what happened? Deep Silver and Jaeger seemed like a match made in heaven. They seemed perfect together. They seemed more perfect than an Instagram couple. Every time you saw them, it was all smiles and laughter. They looked like they were made for each other. This relationship almost seemed too perfect, and that's because it was. You see, behind closed doors, Deep Silver and Jaeger would argue more than an alcoholic couple, always fighting each other and always at each other's throats, until Deep Silver could no longer take it and said, "I'm sorry, I'm leaving." Well, they didn't leave, but, you know, they dropped Jaeger from the project pretty much. Jaeger would come out and officially state that the reason for the drop was due to creative visions falling out of alignment. There seems to be a pattern here, doesn't there? First, Deep Silver and Techland fall out due to creative differences, then Jaeger fall out with Deep Silver over the same thing. I wonder who's to blame for this. Is it the developers' fault for not being able to see the vision of the publishers? Or is it the publishers' fault? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, nod, nod, for being more controlling than War Machine over how the game should look. You see, what's really baffling about Jaeger's situation is the game was 80% done. They had the story, they had the gameplay down, and now they were onto marketing. The game was pretty much done, right? You only do marketing once the core essence of a game has been completed. Once the game can stand up on its own 2 feet, then you do the marketing. That's one of the final stages of game developing, marketing. All that was left to do was iron out a few bugs, make the game smoother than a line of cat, and add the final decorations to the game, add the decorative sugar, and this game is mwah, it's perfect. But that would never happen. You've got to understand that in order for a game to be cancelled at such a late stage, that a massive dispute had to have happened. Because if it was a minor dispute, you would, if you was Jaeger and a minor dispute occurred, you would grit your teeth and work through it. But Deep Silver couldn't do that, so it had to be major. No official reason was given for the separation between these two, but rumour has it that it was because Deep Silver saw how successful Dying Light was, and they wanted Jaeger to redesign the entire map and mechanics in order for parkour to be a thing in the game, as well as add some other elements that they spotted in Dying Light. But Jaeger were like, bro, no, we've made this sick game here the way we've wanted, obviously with your controlling demeanor over us, but we've made this game the way we like it. We're not redesigning it now. So Deep Silver said, alright, bet, and dropped him. This isn't confirmed, this is only speculation, but this seems the most likely one due to the circumstances surrounding the game and the fact that the game was 80% done. It's said that Deep Silver had to do Jaeger dirty like this, if this is true, but it did make way for a new and better developer in Deep Silver's eyes. March 2016, Deep Silver officially announced Sumo Digital as the new developers of Dead Island 2. Third time lucky, right? Sumo Digital, if you don't know by the way, are known for their smash hit games like Sonic Tennis, Sonic Racing, and Sudoku. Who could forget that cult classic? Deep Silver saw them games and said, yeah, them boys right there, bro, yeah. They know how to make a zombie game, you get me? Koch Media, who owns Deep Silver, came out and said that Sumo Digital had a great understanding of the Dead Island brand, had creative ideas for the game, and their vision aligned with Deep Silver's vision of Dead Island 2. So finally, Deep Silver have found developers who can see the true vision of Dead Island 2 the way they want it. This must mean it's definitely coming out, right? Wrong. Sumo Digital would later on leave.
Bye, have a beautiful time.
They weren't dropped, they left. But why? No official reason has been given for the separation, and trying to find answers to this situation is like trying to find answers to life. The more and more you search for answers, the more questions it leaves you. The main theory behind it though is that Sumo Digital didn't have the facilities to work on Dead Island 2 or complete it, and didn't realize the scale of Dead Island 2. And Sumo Digital, were also too busy making Crackdown 3 after it got delayed, so they concluded their part of the work and let Dambuster Studios take over, who had much better facilities and a much bigger space to work in. So this time, it seems like it was the developers' fault, not Deep Silver's. Before, Deep Silver were to blame, but now it's Sumo Digital who are to blame for it, for Dead Island 2 getting delayed again. They pretty much put their hand up and said, we'll make Dead Island 2, yeah, sure, no problem. And then they said, about that Dead Island 2 game you want making, we're not going to be able to do it. Yeah, no, we're not doing it. They pretty much just pieced out. They were just like, yo, we're out of here. Bye, we're going to make Crackdown 3, goodbye. So now, Deep Silver, once again, is single, and is back on the market, is back in the dating scene. And they were pretty much snatched up by Dambuster Studios. Dambuster Studios saw the way Deep Silver were looking and Dead Island 2, and they said, yeah, we'll do it. So that's where it currently is. Dead Island 2 is now in the sweet hands of Dambuster Studios, and they're cradling this little baby and making sure it grows up to be a strong and healthy boy. And when it's time to reveal it to the world, Michael Jackson style, they will. So now we play the waiting game. That same game we've been playing since 2014. That's the only game we've played. We haven't played Dead Island 2, we played the waiting game. And it's been 7 years of playing the same game. I would like to play a different game, please. Who knows? Maybe it'll get delayed again and passed on to another developer. That actually wouldn't surprise me. At this point, Dead Island 2 has been passed around more than a blunt between a group of teenagers. So I'm sure Dead Island 2 doesn't have much left, and if it gets delayed again, I don't see it coming out. I see it being cancelled fully, and for good this time. Conclusion. So it seems a battle of power between developers and Deep Silver is what caused the game to get delayed over and over and over again. It's ironic that Deep Silver talk about this creative vision, but yet had such a specific path that Dead Island 2 had to go down that it actually hinders any type of creative thinking at all. Like, how can you be creative if you are on such strict guidelines? It's like someone told you to make a painting but only told you to use these brushes and only told you to use this amount of paint and told you what color paint to use and what size to paint it on or what size the canvas has to be and what you have to draw. There's not a lot of creative thinking going into it. You're being told what to do. So I don't get that. It's a weird one. How can you want people to be creative if you absolutely refuse to allow them to be creative, and any idea outside the box you instantly shut down? See Techland. Techland said, hey, let's add parkour to the game, and then Deep Silver went nope and got rid of them. But then it turned out, hey, parkour in a zombie game, that works, and Dying Light was successful. It's a weird one, I don't get it. Techland and Jaeger were both dropped because of creative differences, because they weren't allowed to be as creative as they wanted to be. Sumo Digital left because they were pretty much trolling. they were never serious about making Dead Island 2. They just wanted to say, yeah, we'll do it, and then they just dipped. And Dambuster Studios are the current ones who are working on Dead Island 2. To be honest though, I actually don't expect Dead Island 2 to look much different from the original and how it looked at Gamescom. I don't expect it to look much different because of Deep Silver's tunnel vision. They want it to look a certain way. We know we're still getting the same story, we know we're still getting the same setting, and we know we're getting the same characters, so I don't expect it to be much different. I honestly don't. But yeah, that's why Dead Island 2 has had so many delays. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Deep Silver. What do you think? Do you think they're to blame, or do you not think they're to blame? Do you think it's the developers' fault? Let me know. Thank you all for watching. If you've made it this far, comment down below cookie, and I will give you a cookie. Anyway, I'm out of here. Bye! I'm going to do a sumo digital and just peace out of here. Peace!